In January 2018, an historic event was held in Denmark. Over 51,000 viewers were tied in live from 500 different locations all over Scandinavia. The New World Translation of the Bible was simultaneously released in 3 languages: Norwegian, Swedish, and Danish.
It's easy to read and it carefully conveys the original message. What is most outstanding with the New World Translation is that it has restored God's name according to the original text. This is done out of respect for the author of the Bible, who says in Isaiah 42:8, "I am Jehovah, that is my name."
Unfortunately, too few Scandinavians know God's name, though it can be found in various places with either Hebrew or Latin characters. It is pronounced in slightly different ways.
Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah.
What's the history of the divine name in Scandinavia? Before the 16th century, the name was almost unknown because the Christian churches mostly used the Latin translation of the Bible called the Vulgate.
Ordinary people didn't understand Latin. Moreover, God's name was replaced with titles such as Lord.
In the 16th century, some brave and skilled men translated the Bible from the original languages, where remarkably they discovered God's name written almost 7,000 times. Sadly, these translators followed the long history of replacing God's name with titles, although several of them retain God's name at least a few times. This burning desire to translate the Bible soon came to Scandinavia, and also the knowledge of the divine name. The first complete Danish Bible was released in 1550 by King Christian III. In 1604, a Danish theologian named Hans Paulsen Riesen met with King Christian IV and pointed out some faults in the Danish Bible translation. He was granted approval to translate the Bible directly from the Hebrew and Greek text into Danish. Interestingly, it contains God's name in a marginal note. The first Swedish translation was released in 1541. King Gustav II Adolf released a revised version in 1618. In a note on Exodus 6:3, it says, God reveals his name Jehovah, Lord. The first Scandinavian Bibles were mostly meant for church use. But now people could at least listen to God's word in their own language. Even though God's name was rarely used in these early Scandinavian Bible translations, the name was discovered and started to be used in other contexts, for example, on coins. God's name was also used in official royal mottos of Swedish kings. One of the mottos can even be found on the front page of the Swedish law book from 1608. King Charles IX also instituted a royal order called the Order of Jehovah. Finally, a few translators took the important step and reinstated Jehovah's name thousands of times in the Bible text. The Danish priest Kalkar states, why the expression Jehovah is used instead of Lord doesn't even need to be defended. Some translators have shown the same respect for Jehovah's name to this day.
The Bible contains many other names we feel free to use. So why shouldn't we use the name of the only true God, Jehovah?
Because this translation uses his name, it's much easier to get to know the person behind the name.
If I didn't know God's name, it would have been difficult for me to have a personal and close relationship to him.
This translation will be perfect for us to use when we teach our children.
I really look forward to using it to teach others about God.
It's amazing. Thank you, Jehovah.
In in one of the most secular areas in the world, God's statement in Exodus 3:15 still proves to be true. Jehovah is my name forever, and this is how I am to be remembered from generation to generation.